605 Wrestling. Wrestling the way it was, wrestling the way it should be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 605 Wrestling. Wrestling the way it was, wrestling the way it should be. This is the disembodied voice of your host, the eclectic gentleman, Stephen Watts. And as always, we have one heck of a show for you today. You'll see birthday boy Jose Lothario take on the pretty boy Gino Hernandez in a Texas Death Steel Cage match. We'll keep the cage matches rolling as we see Hector and Chavo Guerrero take on Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death Steve Williams for the Mid-South Tag Team titles. Then, of course, in your main event, you'll see NWA World Heavyweight Champion take on former champion Terry Funk in a 2 out of 3 falls match. But before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment below on what wrestling superstars you would like to see in future episodes. Now let's go to ringside for our very first match, the very first televised meeting between Sabu and Rob Van Dam.
Mystery man in the ring, Rob Zakowski running around the ring right now, and he is going to be headed up onto the ring apron. Look at him leap into the ring. We're just about set to go with one fall, 10-minute time limit action. I beg your pardon, one fall, 15-minute time limit action. And here's Michael St. John.
Thanks, Dave, and it is Samu the Mystery Man. There you see him acting very peculiar in the ring to start things off against Rob Zakowski. Rob has made a sensational debut here in the USWA, but he is getting quite a test today with Samu the Mystery Man. Samu, very unorthodox in the way he approaches a wrestling match, and of course, Rob Zakowski with that kickboxing training and the martial arts training that he has. This should be a very interesting match. Zakowski with a little kick to the head. Samu, looking at the lights, it looks like he is going over towards the referee to ask him about it, but in the meantime, Rob Zakowski goes towards him, and Samu, the Mystery Man, right away seizes the opportunity on Rob. Puts him into the ropes, sends him off. Oh, what a nice drop kick. Rob Zakowski catches him with a good drop kick. Takes with the arm twist a step over. Look at this roll. Brings him down to the mat. Looks like may have had him in a pinning combination, but Samu in the ropes and quickly to the floor.
Yeah, into the ropes, so that stopped the count right there. This Samu, he keeps pointing at the light grid. He's been here before, but I think he understands wrestling, but I'm not sure he really understands what's going on as far as the television station is concerned. And I don't know if he's afraid that there's something strange up there that's going to come get him or what, but look at that.
What a nice move, as again, Zakowski up high with the drop kick, catching Samu upper part of the chest, arm drag takedowns, Samu goes down. These two young fellas are going at each other very quickly and very strongly in this match. Full suplex, rolls over Zakowski with the cover, count of 1 was all he got. And very quickly, Samu up and looked like he may have gone with a karate chop right to the throat, Dave.
I think he did. That slowed Zakowski down there. Rob, tremendous speed and agility. Look at that. You never know where he's going to be next. Great move there as he took Samu off his feet. That's something he needed to do.
I don't think I've seen two wrestlers go at each other any quicker as far as the pace of this match as these two have gone at each other thus far in this match. Samu, second strand of rope, drops down with the knee across the throat of Rob Zakowski and moves in, got him choked. Referee Paul Neighbors breaking it up very quickly. And Samu with the front chancery now. And Rob Zakowski slowed down a bit. Samu, I think, wanting to get the pace of this match down to his speed.
Yeah, I think if he can slow it down, he feels like he would have the advantage there, and that's what he's done to Zakowski. He's got him down. No, he only got a count of 1.
Rolled him over, and now reverses it again with that front face lock. Samu, the Mystery Man, and I guess that really applies, Dave, because he's a very mysterious individual in the ring.
Zakowski trying to speed things up a little bit. Fired him into the rope. Whoa.
What was that?
He had a fist doubled up. He hit him with a fist there.
Slowed up Zakowski again. Samu and Zakowski locked up in the center of the ring. Samu, whoa, uppercut that time. Tried him again. Here's Zakowski going for the backslide. Has him rolled up, but he rolled on over. Was unable to hold Samu for any kind of count. It looks like Samu has picked up some of the American style of brawling, if you would, throwing those fists. Look at this. Zakowski with several kicks, now one to the chest. Samu goes down. Zakowski rolls him up. 1, 2. Oh, I thought he may have had a 3 count.
I did too. Samu was able to bring those shoulders up, stop the referee's count, and get back to his feet, and now he sends Zakowski flying into the turnbuckles.
Caught him with the elbow once he was there. Zakowski again swung across around the ring, and there, Samu closing in, and Rob moved out of the way.
Good smart move by Rob Zakowski there.
Zakowski going to climb the upper way. Here's Judge Dredd, and Judge Dredd just came out, the partner of Samu, and tripped Zakowski up off that top strand of rope. Samu, using the bottom rope for leverage, got a 3 count. And Samu, with a lot of help from Judge Dredd, just beat Rob Zakowski.
Great deal from Color Time. Body slam into a complete bedroom group for just 99 cents. Spin into a new washer and dryer. Tag yourself a new living room group. Lock in a computer or big screen TV for just 99 cents. Pick up the phone and call today. Pin down your first week's rent for just 99 cents.
There's no credit houses, free service, and quick delivery.
Now 8 convenient locations. Call now for delivery today.
Welcome now, ladies and gentlemen, to the first match inside a fence we have ever put on television here in the Sam Houston Coliseum in the city of Houston, where fence matches originated. Perhaps it is fair to say that the first match inside an enclosure of any kind took place in Galveston before it took place in Houston. The ring was enclosed inside a fishnet. But then, when that was to enclose Bull Curry, then when here is Boyd Pierce.
Texas Deathmatch rules means the match will continue until one man either quits or is unable to continue. No limit on falls. There can be 3 falls or 33 falls. 1 minute rest period between falls. There must be a winner. Behind the hurricane fence at 230 pounds from Houston, Texas, Gino Hernandez. And across the ring, his opponent, 245 pound from Mexico City, Super Sock Jose Lothario.
This is the battle to the death. Of course, no disqualifications, no time limit, no limit on the number of falls. It will end when one man cannot answer the bell for the next round. You've met Jose Lothario, you've met Gino Hernandez and been introduced to the referee. But now here in this first fall of this match inside the fence, you will have to meet the crowd just a little bit later because they are up in arms. They have had a tremendous amount of action during the night, but they've been looking forward to this one. Gino Hernandez with a side headlock. But again, I tell you that the first match inside a fence took place in the city of Houston and spread around the world. So Gino Hernandez, who broke that left arm of Jose Lothario, and probably wishes that it had stayed broken because it's bound to do him a lot of damage before this match ends. And Gino comes around with a beautiful right, and that one has not been broken. Object of the fence is twofold. It keeps the wrestlers in the ring, which is of paramount importance. It also keeps the fans in the audience, which is of equal importance. But in a match like this, where toughness is the virtue that should shine above everything else, we're bound to see a lot of rugged action. Where Jose is in the ring, some wrestling is bound to take place under any circumstance, but he gets that permission from the crowd to slam away at Gino Hernandez, and does it. So Gino Hernandez caged with a man who knows his way around in the cage, a man who taught him to wrestle, the man who introduced him to the mat game. Gino has had no compunction about trying to whip his former mentor any way he can. Waistlock. Waistlock, and Gino is caught in it. It becomes a bear hug with the pressure that Jose Lothario is using, and a rip across the face, across the eyes. Remember, no disqualifications. The effort now of Gino Hernandez turning to try to use the corner and to use the fence, and he smashed it into it and managed to dent, not the fence, but to dent Gino Hernandez, and rather to dent Jose Lothario. And now Gino Hernandez strutting because he suddenly feels cocky and able to do it, and Jose's in trouble. The first trouble of the night as far as he's concerned, but it won't be the last. Gino Hernandez with a grip on the trapezius muscles of Jose Lothario, able to pour in the effort, but this isn't what he's after. He wants to do damage to Lothario before this match is over, but he knows he's got to soften him up. He's got to weaken him. He's got to tire him out before he can accomplish the other things. The same thing could be said of Jose Lothario. He'll have to wear Gino down. Whoa! Oh, man, that acted like a spring. And Gino Hernandez, for a moment there, looked like he was going to try to climb outside that fence, something nobody has ever accomplished. Listen to that crowd in all of its bloodthirstiness, roaring for Jose to step in and clobber the man they know is Jose's toughest rival. He doesn't need any permission. But every time he clenches that fist, Jose means business. And every time he is set to lay it in there, that crowd encourages him all the way. Jose stalks him, and Gino plays the corners. The corners, of course, are equally tough to withstand because the pipes that hold the wire to the fence are twice as numerous in the corners as they are anyplace else. Ripping across the face, the effort to impair the vision, to blur a man's efforts to do something in that ring, and now a fists and feet treatment. Ooh, man, he dropped in that tight and hard. And Gino Hernandez, reverse chin lock. You see him now as he pours it to Jose Lothario and hangs on there. Effort by Lothario to escape from this can only wear him down. Gino with that short hair that just a short time ago was non-existent. It had been shaved right down to the scalp when he lost to Lothario. And, oh, man, he laid it in there. He hauled off and clobbered him. One of Lothario's favorite blows. Hernandez takes a very big chance when he climbs up there because you can see the fence itself extending above that top pipe. And that is where it's possible to become severely damaged in this kind of a match. Gino looking for a way to stop the inevitable approach of Lothario, found his mark with his feet, and it gives him an advantage. inside leg lock, grapevine, and you saw him drop him back, and he wants the count. Now remember, winning the first fall is just something that gives you an initial advantage and a boost to your ego. There it is. But winning the first fall is not winning the match. The man who wins the last
first
fall,
fall, 7 minutes, 34 seconds, Gino Hernandez.
We'll be back here in a moment, right after we have this word from the studio. Less than 10 seconds remain in the intermission period of 1 minute between falls. Lothario must not only answer that bell, he gets a 10 count if he's down. There's the count. There's 6, there's 7, and as he comes up, you see that Gino now gets the full signal to move in on him. So the first fall went to Gino, but that is only academic, because winning the last fall is the object of this battle to the death. Gino Hernandez laying it in there on Jose Lothario. Ooh, and he now is going for the falls. Now the more experienced man in this type of battle is going to go after the punishment, knowing that that will win it rather than the fall. Oh, how he come up there with that beautiful left-hand swing. And Gino hoping now to put Lothario in the tough spot. A driving smash. There's a lot of swinging and a lot of landing of hard blows in this, because they know that the man who can walk out of that fence is the man who's going to walk out with the win. Jose using that right hand more than he uses the left one, which is understandable considering that he is hard crash into the corner. And I mentioned there that you've got twice as many posts, 2 posts to crash into in that area. And Lothario now, look at those fans tell you, drive it in there, and they're giving Jose the full vote of confidence for him to blast Gino Hernandez, and he is punishing Gino, punishing him. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and the second fall of this match goes to
2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Goes to Jose Lothario. We'll stay right here. Let's look for a minute at Jose Lothario as he gets over there in the corner, and he has a full minute's respite as referee Bronco Lubitsch moves in there to check on Gino Hernandez and see whether Gino is going to be able to get up and whether he's going to be able to wrestle in this third fall of this battle.
30
1
seconds.
fall each man. 30 seconds now remaining in the rest period, and Lothario looks like he's breathing hard, but here is a man who can take an inordinate amount of punishment, who can respond best under difficult circumstances, who can always find that reserve, and that is what has kept him as a favorite with the fans here in Houston, kept him as a prime favorite. So Gino is still down. There goes the bell, and Lothario's willing, because if Gino does not rise up by the count of 10, this match would be over. You've got to answer the bell. So trouble for Hernandez. He took a lot of punishment, and here is Gino heading for the turnbuckle, and the turnbuckle is as hard as the fence, except the turnbuckle is covered. The fence is not. And the fans are whooping for Lothario to hand it to him. He's handing it to him too. Both hands. And Gino right now is getting the lesson of his young life. And I wonder whether he is as cocksure and confident as he has been. He was confident enough that time to be able to push Lothario ahead of him, and Lothario hit just about solar plexus high and hit into that turnbuckle to knock the wind out of him. Gino in there, and he is chopping down, biting at the face or the eye of Lothario. And he's smashed in there. You notice that he took him right toward the center of the fence, and there is an up and down support in the center of the fence. There's about 8 or 10 feet of fence, and then there's the center pole. And smashing into that is smashing it hard. And that time, Gino made sure that Lothario, who is bleeding now from a wound on the head, made sure that he came crashing into that up and down support. Now it's Gino on the move. Now it's Gino looking to take over on Jose Lothario completely. And Lothario bleeding badly as the fence catches the brunt of it. Branko Lubich could stop this match if he feels that the cut is bad enough to permanently injure a man. But I want to tell you, it would be hard to convince Lothario that any cut was going to cost him a match. There again, right at that centerpiece. The center pole again, and Lothario's in serious difficulties now as Gino aims for him with his 235 pounds. Top man, Gino Hernandez. And there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And we have a fall with Gino Hernandez now with the third fall in this battle. So we are back now with about 15 seconds remaining in the intermission period of 1 minute between falls. We're coming up on the 4th fall, but I point out to you that this could go 4 or 12 or 20 falls. It only matters when one man is unable to continue. That could be decided by the count as Branko is doing it, although he would be liberal with that because in a battle to the death, no man wants a questionable victory. And over that top rope, he smashed into that fence and smashed into it again. He just bent the ropes back that far, and the ropes are no real protection. And this time he was crashed into the centerpiece again, and it's Gino on top. There it is. We'll stay right here as Gino now has taken 3 out of 4 falls. Gino has taken 3 out of 4. The question now is the future of Jose Lothario, whether he is going to be able to come out. So Lothario, listening for the timekeeper, I'm sure, wondering about the possibility of stepping up into more punishment. He is bleeding badly from a cut on the head. He may have a cut on his nose or his face from the contact with that abrasive and difficult fence. And it looks to me like he's holding that left arm. It's possible that that arm that was broken was crashed into that unyielding fence. So Gino's hollering to referee Branko Lubich to finish up the count. Gino has not gone down from the blows, and that's a good sign as far as Lothario's fans go. He is bleeding from the blows, and bloodthirsty Hernandez in there to chomp away at the wound of Lothario. And there he goes for the stomach claw, driving into the midsection of Gino Hernandez, catching him right in the belly and putting the big squeeze on, but the hand of Hernandez was across his face at the time, and it ripped in the area of his eyes. And here we've got Gino. It looked to me like he was looking for a way out of that ring, but he may want one even more now that Lothario has recovered somewhat from this, and Gino gets smashed into the middle of that fence. That fence is bound to have little bits of raised metal on it. Oh, man, how he caught that one. Gino driven in there hard, driven in there solidly, and Jose Lothario measuring him for a wallop. As he measures him for the wallop, he tries his best to clobber him right on the area that was affected. So Lothario moves in as Gino Hernandez, with blood running down his face from the constant banging crash into the fence, is urged. Jose is urged on by these fans. They want him to blast him, and he did that with a left. There's nothing wrong with that left arm right now, I'll tell you that. And if it did hurt him, he didn't care. Oh, man. A smash in there for Gino Hernandez, and his face is covered with blood here from the contact with that fence. Drove him over that top rope. His feet were off the floor when he crashed into the fence itself and dropped back. The man down is Hernandez, and Jose is trying to make certain that he does not recover from this one. And he come in there beautifully. This could be a fall. So fall number 5. Fall number 5 goes to
2 minutes,
Jose
57
Lothario.
seconds. The winner of the 5th fall, Jose Lothario.
Lothario takes the fall here for fall number 5. And right after we have this word from the studio, we'll be back for fall number 6. The bell sounds now for the 6th fall, but listen to that count. The fans with it. So Gino Hernandez got up before the count. But Jose has moved in there with the thought that he's going to fix him for a count that he will not be able to move out. And here you are, fall number 6. With Jose Lothario trying to make sure that this time Gino Hernandez will not be able to respond to the bell. Crotch, and he drove him into the fence, and I was about to say that he was going to have a crotch lift and then a slam, but it didn't work out that way. Boom! Planted a set of knuckles right smacking in his face. Listen to those fans drive him, screaming for him to move in there for the kill. On top, Jose Lothario. We've got a fall again, but remember that while we have just had the 6th fall.
Winner of the 6th fall, 1 minute 8 seconds, Jose Lothario.
We've had the 6th fall, but the end of this match depends on whether or not one of these men cannot answer the bell for the next fall. That's what counts. So Jose Lothario stands over him. We'll stay right here. We'll watch Gino Hernandez's efforts to rise up. 30 seconds. He has now to get up, and I can have no doubt that he has a sore head. He has crashed into that fence, but so has Lothario. And in spite of the fact that Gino had his head shaved recently, there is no question that he has more on the top of his head to protect it than Jose Lothario has. So the man down is Gino Hernandez. Crowd telling Jose to move in. The bell rings to start fall number 7. So Hernandez made it. He is up for fall number 7. And the could be a lucky number for Jose, considering the shape that Gino is in. And right now, as he tries to jerk that arm out of the socket, fans are telling him to break it, just as Gino broke his arm here way back in the beginning of December. Armbar, he's working on that arm. He's trying to force Gino Hernandez to quit, to say that he's unable to continue. And if Gino is unable to continue, now continue doesn't mean losing the fall. And Lothario is arguing that Gino doesn't have the right to quit. He wants him to give up for the match. But the truth of the matter is that Gino does have the right. We're going to stay right here. We're going to stay right here. The 7th fall goes to Gino Hernandez. Rather, I beg your pardon, the 7th fall was conceded by Gino Hernandez, and Jose Lothario is now 4-3, but this doesn't mean much until he takes the last fall. So referee Branko Lubich gave Gino the right to capitulate in that fall when actually that's the referee's prerogative, but the point should be that Gino Hernandez has the option to quit for the whole match. And this is what Jose Lothario was trying to drag out of him, trying to get him to concede. So with less than 10 seconds remaining in this, the 8th fall coming up. There's the bell, the sound of 8. Listen. So Gino Hernandez is up, Jose Lothario moving in, protecting that left arm on which Lothario worked, and there was no doubt that Lothario was anxious to work on that arm for the simple reason that he knows what Gino would do to his arm if he could. Front headlock for Lothario. And oh man, the strain and the pressure that puts on the neck itself. There it is, that same driving lift. And Branko Lubich looking close. There's the cinching of that front headlock as you notice where he's grabbing him up above the elbow, and he has his own arm. So he puts that on to keep that neck twisted, keep the head turned, keep pressure on a man who right now must be feeling that pressure to the utmost. You saw him drive the tips of his fingers into the throat, and Gino Hernandez just dropped on that top turnbuckle and on the rope, and this is the most dangerous spot that Jose Lothario has been in yet. The 8th fall, and Gino Hernandez has won it by lifting Jose Lothario up and dropping him on the top turnbuckle, nasty fashion. And you can bet that Lothario is right now in the most difficult spot he has been in since this match began. We will have fall number 9 coming up right now. Fall number 9. But Jose is down, trying to get up. He is in a bad way. He is.
15 seconds.
There is 15 seconds remaining here. The crowd is screaming for Jose. And bad sign. Jose started up and then fell over and is doubled up. There goes the bell. There is the count. The crowd isn't counting as loudly and as enthusiastic. Few people are counting, but the rest of them are trying to destroy the count. They want Jose to get up, and the fall and the match in this fence match goes to Gino Hernandez. He is the winner.
World-renowned heavyweight pro wrestler Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer and his brother Brent Wayne Sawyer present the top pro wrestling school in the United States, right here in Sacramento, California.
I'm Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Do you got what it takes? Do you got the heart, the desire, the determination, the charisma to become a professional wrestler? Then if you do, I've took time out of my busy schedule, out of my worldwide tour, to come here to Sacramento, California, and have the biggest training camp in the United States. If you got what it takes to become a pro wrestler, I want you to call right now, 344-5588. You know, it don't get no better. It's not easy. It's hard. So when you come and you see the Mad Dog, I want you to know when you walk in the door that you're going to be sweating and you're going to feel a lot of pain and a lot of agony, but you're going to come out a better man.
Welcome back. The special referee for this evening's cage bout for the Mid-South Tag Team titles with no DQ, Alberto Madril. Currently in the ring, weighing in at 277 pounds from Oklahoma University, Steve Dr. Death Williams. His partner in the other half of the Mid-South Tag Team title holders, weighing in at 272 pounds from Omaha, Nebraska, Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death await the arrival of their opposition.
Challengers in this no disqualification match, weighing in at a combined weight of over 432 pounds, Hector Pistolas and Chavo Guerrero.
And the fifth man in the ring is Alberto Madril, former world's junior heavyweight champion, a man who won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship here in the Houston ring, right here in the Sam Houston Coliseum, a few years ago when he defeated Nelson Royal. Shortly after that, Madril was taken down by a malady and was forced to relinquish the title. But right now, we've got Texas Tornado going. We've got all four men in the ring at the same time. And Madril faced with the job of trying to get some sense of order as up above me comes Chavo Guerrero, and the blonde hair is Hector Guerrero. And Hector is now playing in a movie in Hollywood, and that's the reason for his blonde hair. But that's not the reason for that bump on the head of Ted DiBiase. Now as Chavo Guerrero pursues him, you see him going after Ted DiBiase and trying to double him up in the middle with punishment around the midsection. And Chavo flying mare, and we've got a skid right down the sides of his face that must have started right at the nose, and a back bottom drop, and Chavo Guerrero places Ted DiBiase in position for a real bit of punishment. Now the match has settled down to a tag team event, which it was scheduled to be in the first place. The Mid-South Tag Team title is at stake in this, and the champions, DiBiase and Dr. Death, are looking for the opportunity now to hang on to that coveted title and the belts that symbolize it. Ted DiBiase tried to get out on the floor of the ring. This fence around the ring is simple but sturdy, and he was stopped cold in his tracks. So DiBiase backs up to Steve Williams, and then comes out of the corner and comes to face Chavo Guerrero. Up on the top turnbuckle is Hector Guerrero. He's standing up there watching his brother go to work, and now his brother's on the receiving end. Here is a quick switch, and DiBiase backdropped and backdropped. Well, a hard landing. So DiBiase doesn't like the idea of being hemmed in. Claustrophobia setting in. And here comes Hector Guerrero setting in. With a quick wrap up here, he takes a fast roll to wrap him up and try to tie him up completely. And this time DiBiase has worked it well. He has maneuvered around and trapped Hector Guerrero into that corner and left him where Dr. Death could get after him and work him over. Dr. Death, former Oklahoma All-American in football and in wrestling, and this time he was hit with a Mexican clothes hanger, and it was a beauty. In behind, Hector Guerrero, and off of the buckle comes brother Chavo. He gets over, he wraps him up. There's one, there's two. Referee Al Madril, who is a special referee for this battle, comes down there with a 2 count, but not a 3 count. The driving knee of Chavo Guerrero, and now the double punishment of Chavo and Hector, setting him up on all sides here as the action goes, and there's a race across that ring to get up there and lay that knee into him. Man down. Dr. Death, he's trying to get over to tag Ted DiBiase. It didn't work, and now is this great Coliseum crowd, and it is a huge crowd. Roars their approval. Hector Guerrero went through the air and spun around in the air and come down on top of Steve Williams. There's a touch. In comes Chavo. Oh, how that can pierce you, I'll tell you. When you stiffen those knees and come down, it's like being hit with that many pounds of rock falling. So Chavo goes to work, and so does Steve Williams. He literally raced Chavo over into the hands of Ted DiBiase and got him into a spot where they could both go to work on him. DiBiase now, properly touched, comes in to take on Chavo and up into the steel fence, and it is an immovable object, believe me. 5 minutes have gone by as DiBiase, who is one of the most dangerous individuals in the wrestling game today and is proud of that Mid-South Tag Team title, carefully manages to wallop Chavo Guerrero. Guerrero's head was cut open in the contact with the steel fence, and DiBiase is working him over to make sure that he gets maximum punishment out of it. Dr. Death aiming and going, and he comes down to land hard on top of the head of Chavo Guerrero. Trouble now is Chavo bleeding badly, and Dr. Death working him over. Tries to coax him up where he can get after him. Chavo's a little dazed. He moves to the wrong corner, and no doubt about the fact that Steve was willing to help him along. In comes Ted DiBiase after a legal tag, and DiBiase senses that things are just right. You saw him with that gloved hand of his, and that gloved hand of his has been a bone of contention. And I say bone, for when there is something that he manages to put into that gloved hand and to lay his opponents down on that canvas after he hits him. A wild wallop to the top of the head with the gloved hand, and down on the canvas comes Chavo Guerrero, and Ted DiBiase with a great deal of satisfaction tell these people to look and see what he's doing to a man who has become his arch rival in the mat wars here in the Mid-South area. And here is Houston Wrestling in the Sam Houston Coliseum. They have had a couple of matches that have been absolutely barn burners, as some people would call them, but the barn is still there and the action is still there, and now Guerrero is taking an unconscionable amount of punishment as he manages to squirm out from Steve Williams. Now as he blasts Dr. Death, he manages to get up to his feet, but he's in the wrong area and he backed into the corner, not knowing where he was. Dr. Death tries to set Chavo Guerrero up. There he comes in from the cradle hold and rocks him right down, rolls him over, and before Chavo can get to the corner, and he again, with the blood running in his eyes, he's having his problem. He went into the wrong corner, but that foot and that slicing chop that came around there, they were in the right spot, and they have gained an opportunity for him to stay in there and to battle. DiBiase maneuvering after him. There's the sleep hold as he caught him first in the clothesline, and Chavo rammed his head into the turnbuckle, and Ted DiBiase's in trouble. And for the first time now, there is the possibility for Chavo to get to his brother and let him get in that ring. He lost the opportunity. He went to the wrong corner. He sensed it and walked away from it, but he walked into Ted DiBiase. And you don't just walk into Ted DiBiase. There's Hector. And now the brotherly spirit comes in there to start to cheer him on. And he manages to ram their heads together. Referee trying to get rid of. Now we've got all four of them in the ring as things start flying all around. And Steve Williams is out of the ring, down on the floor, and under the ring. Now he comes out of the ring, but he has spread this fence about 3 feet away from the ring. It is not coming apart, but it is pushed back from the ring, and he's starting to climb in. As up in the ring, Hector Guerrero is trying his best to pin DiBiase, but in the meantime, Chavo Guerrero has taken the glove from DiBiase. He has taken the glove for him, and he is preparing him. Oh, he turned and blasted him. And listen to the uproar of this crowd as Chavo Guerrero stands there with Ted DiBiase's glove and now slams into Steve Williams, and down goes Ted DiBiase. So now with the armor and the weapon of the opposition, Chavo Guerrero is making the most of it. And three of the four men in there are bleeding right now from wallops, and the blood is running down the nose of Steve Williams and running into the eyes of DiBiase, who has been knocked through the ropes and onto the ring apron as referee Al Madril is arguing. He's arguing with Chavo Guerrero about taking off that glove, and is taking it off for sure and putting it into his pocket. Alberto Madril, veteran wrestler for sure. There is a back body drop, a high lift, and a good one. There's one. There's one again, and the foot of Ted DiBiase goes over the rope. Steve Williams comes up on the opposite side. DiBiase is pulling himself up to his feet, and the hard crashing wallop into the jaw, and with Chavo being down, Alberto Madril has taken the glove out of his pocket, and he has put it on his hand, and Alberto just laid Alberto Madril took the glove out of his hand, out of his pocket, put it in his hand, and laid it into the jaw of both Chavo and Hector Guerrero. And we have a tremendous, he's got me at a loss for words. But the Mid-South Tag Team Champions are leaving the ring, and down on the canvas are Chavo Guerrero and Hector Guerrero. And what a stunning surprise and what a stunning upset. I haven't seen Al Madril in several years, but surely he's not the Al Madril that I once knew.
Sir, would you prefer hamburger A, a Wendy's hamburger, which is always made fresh, or hamburger B, which is pre-made and sits around?
B! It's hard like my Deltoids.
Yes, but wouldn't you rather have the juicy taste of the Wendy's hamburger?
Hey, no pain, no gain. And that beef burger, that's pain, yeah, real pain, the kind I like. That burger put some serious hurt in me. I love it. Got any more?
Most people like the taste of fresh hamburgers, like Wendy's, the best burgers in the business.
Introducing your main event of the evening, 2 out of 3 falls with a 60-minute time limit for the heavyweight championship of the world. Introducing first, ladies and gentlemen, former heavyweight champion and the challenger for the belt at 232 pounds from Umbarger, Texas, Terry Funk. And in the black corner, 245-pound world's heavyweight champion from Kansas City, Missouri, Harley Race. 2 out of 3 falls, 1 hour time limit. Your referee for this title match, Nick Kozak.
The world's heavyweight title. This match is sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance. You see the referee, Nick Kozak, holding up the belt emblematic of the championship. Turns it over to the timekeeper, Mike Williams, which is traditional. And now we're ready for 2 out of 3 falls between Harley Race and Terry Funk. Funk lost the title to Harley Race in Toronto in February, and he believes that he is in condition to get that belt back. And of course, this is the thing that pervades his every thought and his every move. According to Funk, he is in the best shape of his career for this effort here against Harley Race. And Nick Kozak is making sure that both men understand exactly what he has in mind when he calls the men in the ropes. Nick has refereed tough ones before, but this promises to be as tough a test as a referee as he has ever had. He calls for the bell, and it is the start of a world title battle here in the Sam Houston Coliseum. And Harley Race knows that he is going to have to be at the peak of his career in order to still go out of the ring as champion tonight. So Funk moves in, but to say that he's the aggressor at this particular moment is a little early. But we can say that Harley Race is not exactly overconfident, nor is he over-endowed with eagerness to get in there and clash with Terry Funk. Now, Race has just returned from Japan, and he has had a few tough matches in the Orient, Singapore, Hong Kong, several matches in Japan itself, but he has not faced an opponent of Terry Funk's caliber, no matter where he has been. And both these men have a reputation for roughness. Funk is the toughest and roughest member of the Funk family. He is proud of that fact. He says he wrestles the way his father told him wrestling should be done. So now, as Race examines Funk's style, he starts to move in just a little bit more. But notice Terry make that switch in the ropes. And, oh, man, a slash across the throat. And this is something that could quickly change Race's complexion. Oh, he caught him underneath the chin and up against the throat. And Race is above us here, gasping for breath. So Funk now has thrown the first wallop, taken the first hold, reverse armbar as he moves in there to clamp it on Harley Race, to bear down on Race, to work against that elbow. You see Nick Kozak as he swings around there and takes careful note of everything that takes place. He's offering them the opportunity to capitulate even at this early stage of the game. But a good referee stays on top of the action that way. And you notice the arm bar, he held it straight. He kept the pressure back against the elbow. He jerked the arm back and forth, but he did not bend the elbow. He was working on that particular portion of it. Race the shoulders fairly close to the mat as Funk keeps that grip solidly wrapped around there. And now as Funk is thinking of changing the application of the leverage. There's Race's face. You better take a quick look at it because it might change. Harley Race. And Terry Funk applies an arm stretch in a unique manner. I don't imagine I have ever seen somebody stand up on the man and then fall into it that way. But Funk has a way of inventing things as he goes along, and he also has a way of proving that Funk toughness in everything that he does. Kozak watching the shoulders, even though they're, at this moment, the one of them is considerably up off the mat. This can change, and Nick stays in there, and every man has his own style of refereeing. And Nick referees only occasionally. He competes as a wrestler. He has just come back from the panhandle of Texas. He's been wrestling in Colorado, New Mexico, and West Texas. He is in good shape, and it's one of the reasons he was picked by the NWA to handle this event, and that because of his condition. Well, again, he did exactly the same maneuver that he used before, and only this time he comes up with a hammerlock. He's working his legs around there, using his legs as a bar and doing exactly what he wanted to do. Hooked that arm around his foot. Then as he fell back, he was able to take the arm along with him. And he was able to get a much greater fall and a much greater snap on that arm as he fell when his legs were holding it than he would have if his arm had been hanging on to the grip. Hammerlock and half Nelson, Terry Funk, and he gets his leg under there to use it for leverage, actually applying the half Nelson with his leg. Hammerlock is the grip. He could turn him right over here and get the pin, but Race is fighting against it. You see him drawing up his body there in order to avoid it, and he has managed now to get the hold concentrated only on his arm. It's a double wrist lock, and he's the man doing the crowding. He came forward to push Funk into the ropes. Now we got a pair of left-handers here. That's exactly right. And Funk with a tremendous display of strength and a body slam, and he comes right back in for that arm, but he held him up at arm's length. Holy cow. Some 240 pounds of Harley Race heisted up there at arm's length and then slammed down to the deck. Notice Nick Kozak staying where he can see it, watching it closely, unobtrusive as a referee. And that's what makes the best referee when the match is over, if you can't even remember who was doing it. Yet he has done a good job in remaining obscure, but then remaining firm and effective. Terry Funk working on the arms, both arms of Harley Race. Race trying to fight that arm forward, that left arm of his. Funk staying in behind, and there he's got the 1 count, but that's all. And he moved with lightning-like speed that time to crawl across there and get that arm again. Race is in trouble. Harley Race. His arm is held tightly, but he knows that if he makes a move that enables Funk to compound this hold, he's going to be in double trouble. The call is for the break. He's counting the 3 and the 4 and trying to get, but Terry is reluctant to break. He wanted to make sure that he got away from Race cleanly without being clobbered. Didn't quite make it. Crotch hold and Funk again. Oh, man. Terry Funk dropping in there, giving him a Charlie horse in the arm. Working on that with an arm scissor. And this crowd is buzzing, truly buzzing with the action, the solid action as they move into each other, and neither man here backing away. But then it's Funk who is doing all the wrestling, and Funk who is the guy who is piling up the points. Race's left arm still the target. Race's left arm still caught as he tries to maneuver around. He may be going for the arm stretch again, but he uses his feet freely in here to keep Harley Race pinioned. And again, as he steps up on there, he's got an ear someplace underneath that. Oh! He just screwed that foot of his around there, and then went diving over the back of Harley Race in order to catch that left arm. He wasn't satisfied. He didn't want the right one. He wanted the left one. So he went over the back in order to grab it. Terry Funk's grip. Race drove his head in that time right up against Terry's temple. So Harley Race using that left arm, and believe me, that is the answer when you start to try to make that arm recover, is to use it, get the blood flowing, get the feeling back in it. And it's a side headlock for Harley Race as Terry Funk is still trying to recover from the driving headbutt into the temple. And Terry reaches around, latches onto the left leg of Harley Race. He lifts up that left leg, trying to destroy Race's balance. But right now, Terry is not completely capable of all of 100% effort. That headbutt hit him right smack where he where a man is weak, right up around that temple. I'll tell you, it can make a ding-a-ling out of you fast. So it's Race with the side headlock. It's Funk trying to wrap him up. You see him here trying to get a cradle hold on him. He has Race's leg, but he has not yet completed the grip, but he does manage to get enough of it up there by holding on to Race's arm and using it to apply a hold against Race and keep him wrapped up. And Terry trying to jerk his head out of this vice-like grip. And now fans again. Well, they're shouting for Funk, but Funk lost his chance. No, he went for something else. He went to roll him back and to pin him for the 3 count. So Terry underneath. Harley Race in command with a side headlock. You see the hand of referee Nick Kozak as he was looking over the hole, checking, make sure that it didn't go down underneath the throat in any manner. Fans again with Terry, letting him know it. And Race, as he leans in there, you can see that strange off-balance stance that he has as he leans into Terry Funk. But Funk is straightening out the arm, pulling his head slowly, maybe surely, down out of the grip. At the moment, Race only has part of the hold. He is only fairly well balanced. And now Funk has come up. They're on equal terms. Terry Funk has his arm he has Race's arm up on his shoulder there and is pulling it down, but his head is free of the side headlock. And as the arm is straightened out, Funk is trying to get underneath. They are a tangle of arms. Each man's fighting to maintain top leverage, and it's Terry who succeeds. An arm whip, and he comes up with an arm bar, but he loses it to a counter head scissor. So Race still working on the head, gets the head scissor, and and he is not just going to apply the squeeze for the head scissor. As he raises that leg and drives it down there, he does it with a sure and solid blow. Harley Race, his advantage now rests in weakening Terry Funk, on working on the head that he had buzzing just a while ago with that headbutt into the temple. You see Nick Kozak, he's looking at the shoulders. He's the man who can see it. Where we sit, we cannot. And Race tells referee Kozak to ask him Terry trying to literally pull his head out of there with forward motion if he possibly can. Harley Race, crooked head scissor. The underneath leg pulls up on the head. The leg on the right pushes down on the body and on the neck. And this kind of a grip makes you wish you had never become a wrestler in the first place. There is the twist. He jerks up on it. He pushes down with the right leg. And Terry Funk is trying to discourage Race's effort and turn it into perhaps a back body drop or an opportunity to snatch one of those legs for a toe hold. He is bracing himself for the lift, and Race now has got a decision to make. He still has the hold, but what's he going to do with it? Funk trying to see how he can shake him loose or do something about it. It's still Harley Race's hold, strangely enough, but Funk could be weakening. If he falls backward, he may have an advantage. He sunk down on the canvas as the pressure from the head scissor just settled over him. Nick Kozak at the 20-minute mark. This match has a time limit of 60 minutes. 2 out of 3 falls. We are still in the first fall, and Harley Race adds to the discomfort of Terry Funk. The fans try to add to Terry's enthusiasm for getting out of this grip. Funk, as he bounces around underneath, turns his head. That may relieve some of the pressure, but it also gives him an advantage, and he just used that advantage to stick his foot in Harley Race's face. We could see that perfectly from our side, but it's obscured by their bodies on your side of the action. So Funk come over there with that southpaw clout of his and caught Harley Race alongside the jaw. And Race is looking around now for a way that he can apply this hold and still maintain an advantage. Now it's go Funk, go again as Harley Race applies more pressure to the side, to the head scissor. Terry Funk starts to rise up again, and Terry Funk now is coming up faster than he did before, and well, I'll be darned. To Luce-Lautrec, he moves across that ring and gets the referee to break the hold. Smart move by Terry. He got out without losing an ear, and the way he was holding the side of his head, he may not have gotten out without losing an ear. And that left-handed clobber by Harley Race, following up and taking advantage of the fact that he's got Terry Funk not at his best, and the champion working him over. The world's heavyweight title is at stake, and Race, oh man, he threw that left, but Race is still standing, and Funk knows that he's going to have to lay that blow in there, and he's not going to blow him over with the wind of it. Terry Funk, the ex-world's heavyweight champion. He lost it to Race in Toronto. He is trying to regain it here in Houston. So Terry now, the more he stands there, the more he is going to be able to recover from this punishment around the head. And that twisting arm lock shifts the emphasis away from the head. It's Terry's left arm that's being held. He is a southpaw when he wallops, and he come across with a backhanded clout from the left side with his right hand. And again, he slashes at him well enough to knock his head off and send it rolling up the aisle. And he, again, under the chin and under the whiskers, and Harley Race is weakening, but he still has the arm, and this time Funk tried the headbutt. It didn't work. I think it backfired. I can't see Terry's face from here. Now, he decides to go back to the slash. They don't backfire as well. And he's trying to discourage Harley Race from keeping that grip on that left arm. Now, oh, the left came over. And the left came over with a solid clout. Race against the ropes. Funk anxious to get Race out of the corner. He did not follow Harley into the corner, and for good reason. He was not going to be on the verge of getting trapped in there. There's the man who holds the world's heavyweight title. He brought it into the ring with him. He wants to carry it out. 25 minutes have gone by as Race crowds into Terry Funk, and Kozak tries to break him. He tried for a straight blow from the shoulder, and Terry was with it. He let it go over his head and over his shoulder. Terry, as you see him maneuvering, is trying to, again, get back into 100% efficiency. He's after the spinning toe hold, and Race instantly countered it with that driving foot. These fellows clash hard in the referee's hold. They come in there with solid forearm action, almost like a blow sometimes when they come in and come up, batter up against each other. The knee lift, and Harley Race this time goes for the figure 4 leg lock, and he's wrapped up. His shoulders are down. 2. Oh man, that was close. And Nick Kozak raises 2 fingers. Nick was right on top of the action. Funk doesn't argue with Kozak. He, I think, realized that it was a 2 count, but it was a close to a count. And if you're going to count, I guess maybe a 2.5 count would even be a little bit closer. Funk in the ropes. Oh man, how he knocked him from over his feet. Out of the ring. He just drove him through it. He just helped Terry Funk on his way. He just caught him in the way that he was going and drove him through it. On the floor is Terry Funk. Harley Race, impatient to get up there and to get at him. And Funk landed with a tremendous crash on this concrete. He was driven through those ropes, but he was going in that direction himself. Funk up on the apron right here above us, and the champion trying to punish him on the outside of the ring, and Funk hanging on, but he wants to make it through there. Race again, eager and impatient. He knows that he has damaged Funk, and he wants to capitalize on it. A back body drop up in the air, straight up. Oh man, he just dropped him from that height, and Funk came down from 6 feet up. The hold is an abdominal stretch. The referee Nick Kozak is giving the option to Terry Funk to quit or not to proceed. He can capitulate if he wants to. He has not yet indicated it. But after that fall on the floor and that crash on the canvas, this could be it. Harley Race has that arm solidly pinioned. He's got the leg just tightly set. He has the body twisted, and that, of course, is what an abdominal stretch does. And Terry is going to have to make a decision on this one way or the other. He did. He shook his head yes. The first fall goes to still world's champion. This is only the first fall, however. So the first fall goes to the world's champion Harley Race. We'll be back here in a moment for the second fall of this action from the Sam Houston Coliseum after we have this word from the studio.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Second fall.
Terry Funk gets up to his feet. He waved Nick Kozak away when Nick Kozak came over and wanted to examine him. He pushed him aside, and Terry Funk indicated that he is ready for the second fall of this battle. 26 minutes and some seconds went by in the first fall. This is a 60-minute time limit match, and the referee now is stepping right in there to point out to Harley Race what he thinks happened. So Funk crowds into Race, and Kozak starts to crowd in between the two of them, notifying the two of them that it's time to break, and Funk is able to clobber the champion, but this body slam, oh, what a fall but I think that Harley Race, out of that fall, may have gotten the second fall because he came up there with his head. The blow was right squarely into Terry Funk. Whether it was fair or foul is going to have to be decided by the referee. But here is Harley Race now working his points on Terry Funk. We could have a submission fall here. He has won the first fall with the injury to Terry's back. And now, as he uses this backbreaker, keeps his weight on the small of Terry Funk's back, he is pulling up on the chin, bending him in the middle. It may work, and it may not work. Funk's in trouble. The Go Terry Go is great for inspiration, but I want to tell you that what's happening to Terry Funk right now makes him wish that he had somebody stuck up there in front of him who could take the punishment for him. And Funk now making use of what he can do, and he has come up with a side headlock. And you see him squirming around here and trying his best to keep those arms wrapped tightly around the head of Harley Race. And Terry has gotten out of the back trouble, and he's into trouble again. No, he's not. There goes Terry with the backslide, and he turned the effort to go and get an abdominal stretch into a backslide. Here's the pile driver. Oh, man, that ought to shorten. 2, 3, we've got a fall. Terry Funk with a hard driving a pile driver as I have ever seen.
The second fall, the challenger, Terry Funk.
He got Harley Race up there. He came down with Harley Race's head right smack in between his legs. He drove him down. He just didn't let him fall. He drove him down to the canvas, and it winds up as a fall for Terry Funk. Falls are even, and we'll be back here in a moment after we have this word from the studio. We start the bell we hit the bell for the start of the third, the final, the deciding fall of this match. There are just about 30 minutes left, less than 30 minutes left to bring this match to a conclusion. And each man has one fall. World's champion Harley Race still trying to shake his head into place. And I swear he must be 3 inches shorter after that pile driver. So at the break, Harley Race made Terry Funk about 3 degrees hotter, and it could mean that Harley Race has decided that he's going to open up this fall to some swinging of fists, and he may have made a mistake because the exchange between Race and Funk is between a pair of guys who can clout. Oh, golly. Those wallops laid in there in tremendous fashion. And again, we could have a fall on this as Funk moves in there and drops 235 pounds right into Harley Race. He's got the leg captured. He's got him wrapped up, but he didn't have him wrapped up enough. And Nick Kozak raises 2 fingers to indicate that that was what he counted, was 2. So Harley Race just barely saved his bacon. Terry Funk trying now to carry the match to the Race with a neck breaker. Oh, nicely done. You saw that twist in there. And Kozak right smack in position to get the count, and he raises those 2 fingers to indicate that he has only counted 2. And Nick approves of the kick. Race would not approve of that kick. He could have knocked his head off. So again, as Funk comes up, he drives that foot forward. Top man, there's one, and there's two, and again, Harley Race with that superhuman heave from underneath manages to roust his body out from underneath the weight of Terry Funk. And Funk is looking for a pile driver, or rather an atomic drop, I beg your pardon, atomic drop. And oh, he caught him, and right, the tailbone coming down on Terry Funk's knee. There's the one, there's two, and there is, no, the leg's over the rope. The legs are over the rope. Oh, those fans, some of them screamed, thinking that the fall had been called, and the others saw the thing and just groaned. Or maybe it was Terry Funk that we heard groaning all the way. So Funk may be trying to set a trap for Harley Race. He was. He's going to go for the spinning toe hold, the Funk trademark, the one that the Funk family has used to win most of his matches. His brother Dory Jr. does the same thing, and oh, Harley Race just clobbered Terry Funk right alongside the head, or alongside the jaw, high on the jaw. And Terry back in again. Here's that spinning toe hold again. And Harley Race again driving blows at the face of Terry Funk. And Funk is feeling that eye of his. The last blow was the one I was able to see best. And Terry Funk is bleeding. He is bleeding just over his left eye as he is knocked down to the canvas. But he is after that leg. He is after the spinning toe hold. And Harley Race, shoulder is up. But it's the fact that he could be clobbering. Oh, as Harley Race drives that fist in there, his knuckles are covered with blood. The face of Terry Funk, the left eye is covered with blood. The champion himself is having trouble rising up to his feet. That right leg of his is in trouble, and Terry Funk is bleeding, and bleeding badly as he goes after the leg of Harley Race. He's after it. He knows what he wants. The 5-minute mark in this third and deciding fall. But Funk is bleeding all over the place. The knuckles of Harley Race are bloody from battering the face of Terry Funk. And the blood is running down Terry's face, into his mouth, his chin, from above the eye. And Nick Kozak is concerned. And Race suffering from the toe hold, and now as the knee. As he examines the eye of, look at Funk, just above the eye, and Nick Kozak is trying to tell Terry Funk that he has a bad cut over the eye. And I think he was on the verge that time of trying to stop, going to stop the match when Terry talked him out of it. Tough spot for Terry Funk, bleeding badly, trying his best here to come out on top of this match. And a bloody mess. He's after that leg. He has found the leg. I don't think he can see it all out of that left eye. He dropped in high up on the thigh. He is bleeding all over the body of Harley Race, and his own too. He is after the leg again. He spins, and I tell you, I haven't seen a man bleed like this in many and many a year. But Terry Funk is pouring it to the leg of world champion Harley Race, and now Funk blocking that left hand that has been doing all the damage. He caught another one in the eye, and again he caught another one in the eye. He's snatching him by the hair and crashing into there. And Race is covered with as much blood as Funk, but it's all over Race's body. The blood is running down freely, and Terry Funk trying to force the issue, trying to force the world's champion into submission, but he hasn't got his spinning toe hold on. He is getting weak, I would say, from the blood that he has lost, and Race on one side, and I think that referee Nick Kozak is stopping this match.
The referee Nick Kozak is calling for a doctor here at ringside, please.
So, world's champion
7 minutes, 39
Harley
seconds.
Race is
Winner of the third call in the
still
match.
the world's champion.
World heavyweight
Referee
champion,
Nick Kozak
Harley
has
Race.
stopped the match
Will
because
the doctor
of
please
the
come to ringside,
blood
please?
and the cut over the eye, and there is Terry Funk, and we, as the crowds around this ring, tell you that Harley Race has not yet risen to his feet.
At ringside, please.
They are calling for the doctor to come to ringside, but this match ends in the favor of world's heavyweight champion Harley Race. Not a great deal of victory in it, but he is still the world's heavyweight champion. We'll be back with you in a moment.
First of all, I'd like to go ahead and say that I can't blame Nick Kozak for the decision that he made, but I consider myself not a normal human being, and especially whenever it's concerning the world's heavyweight championship. Now, I don't intend on being the Arnold Palmer of professional wrestling. In other words, I don't intend on being known as what I have done in the past or what I have accomplished in the past, and I was a National Wrestling Alliance World's Heavyweight Champion for over a year's time, and then I lost that championship match to Harley Race. Now that is very important to me, not to be remembered, but to be known as the best in my profession. The only way that I can possibly do that is to regain that World's Heavyweight Championship. Now, I wrestled Harley Race in Houston, and in that match, I was busted open severely, and Nick Kozak made that decision that I talked about earlier to stop the match. And I don't blame him. But what did Harley Race have? Did he actually go ahead and bust me open with his bare fists, or did he have something in his hand? That's what I want to know. Now, I know that the most vulnerable part of the spinning toe hold is whenever you've got that hold on and you've got that man in a submission situation, that the most vulnerable point of you is your face because it's wide open. And he repeatedly hit me above the eye until he split me open. Nick Kozak felt that my career might be endangered. Well, I'll tell you one thing, I feel that I'm a tough enough man and a tough enough competitor that nobody is going to go ahead and stop me. And whenever I can taste victory that fast, know that I am that close to winning the World's Heavyweight Championship, there's nothing that would have kept me from coming back and getting back up again and again. I had Harley Race, I could taste it. I knew that I had the World's Championship back around my waist, but the referee called it and he stopped it. I went to the president of the National Wrestling Alliance, Eddie Graham. Eddie Graham said that he's known me for a long time, and I got down pretty near on my knees and I begged him for a return match. And thanks to Paul Bosch putting his views on this to the president of the National Wrestling Alliance, Eddie Graham, that now I am going to have a return match, and there's one clause, one stipulation that I think is so great that it can't be stopped for any reason. I know that this is a dangerous type of match, but it's not too dangerous for me whenever you consider the stakes.